Hi, this is Morley, and this is the M-Wire. Sorry for my absence, folks. Over the Christmas season, I had a lot of relatives come and see me, and unfortunately, there was just not a lot of time to make videos. I hope you can understand that. I'm sure you all have families, and sometimes, things just get in the way of making content. Family is important. I had a great time with my family. I'm glad they're gone, though. If you're listening, you know I don't mean anything by that. But basically, I had a great Christmas. I hope you did too. And without further ado, let's talk about what's been happening in Russia, or more importantly, what didn't happen in Russia thus far. What I'm referring to is the invasion that was apparently supposed to happen Christmas Eve. Now, that didn't happen. Now, Vladimir Putin is basically trying, or at least posturing, to go the diplomatic route. He has a meeting with the United States on January the 10th, as well as NATO 3 days later. Now, I don't think that these meetings are really going to go anywhere. As I said, I think he's just posturing. I think he's just basically proving to the world that he tried to sort this out diplomatically, and nothing happened. But these sides are very far apart on what they want and what they expect from each other, folks. To exemplify this, imagine you're selling something, anything, and your asking price is $1,000, and somebody comes along and offers you $500, and they're not willing to budge anymore and offer you anymore. Well, you probably wouldn't even so much as entertain their offer, because their offer is essentially half of what your asking price is. As opposed to them, going up to say $700 or $800, well, that would kind of get you thinking about it. Even though it's not your asking price, it's closer to your asking price than $500. My point is, these two sides are so far apart that I don't think any degree of talks is going to appease the other. I don't think that the West can offer Russia anything other than what he wants, which is basically no new NATO countries expanding eastward, including, and especially at the moment, the Ukraine. The United States isn't prepared to offer him that, and I don't think NATO will follow suit. I personally think that, as I said, he's just going through all of these motions to essentially prove to his country and the world that, well, I tried to solve this diplomatically, and he's still going to invade Ukraine. I also think that he's also buying himself time for the ground to freeze in Ukraine, because he doesn't want to go across a muddy marsh, which some of the Ukraine landscape is right now. So in part, I actually think that him agreeing to these meetings with the United States and NATO is essentially buying himself time to get more favorable terrain to invade Ukraine. If you really think about it, I think Vladimir Putin is at a point where he has no choice but to invade Ukraine. And the reason I say that is, if you remember back in the spring when he had his big military buildup and there were fears of invasion then, okay, obviously things calmed down. But now he has so much more military, and this is costing the Russian government a fortune to have all this military there, as you can probably imagine. It will make him look very, very weak if he does absolutely nothing. He's not going to accept any concessions. He wants no NATO expansion. He wants a written guarantee of that. In his mind, anything short of that is unacceptable. Now, Vladimir Putin obviously has a slew of options at his disposal if the West doesn't capitulate and give him some sort of legal guarantee that they will not expand NATO to the Russian border, as it were. The West has essentially threatened Putin with economic sanctions up to and including cutting off SWIFT payments, which is a major payment processor to Russia, which would damage their economy. Putin seems absolutely unfazed by this, and there's a reason for that. Is I don't think, if he does decide to invade Ukraine, if it's easy, and I think it will be easy, I don't think he'll stop there, folks. Why would you stop? He might invade another country close to Ukraine. But make no mistake about it, Vladimir Putin is not going to back down here, and I don't think he is going to make any concessions whatsoever. He essentially is dictating to the West what he would like, and he wants it followed to the letter. So I don't think this is going to be any type of negotiation, if you will. Let me read to you this very brief but very poignant article from the Military Times as to where Vladimir Putin is at and what his options are and what he is prepared to do. Russian President Vladimir Putin said Sunday he would ponder a slew of options if the West fails to meet his push for security guarantees, precluding NATO's expansion to Ukraine. Earlier this month, Moscow submitted draft security documents demanding that NATO deny membership to Ukraine and other former Soviet countries and roll back its military deployments in Central and Eastern Europe. So notice the verbiage, folks, demanding. He's not asking, he's demanding. So that means that this is non-negotiable. It has to be completely off the table, and he wants a legal guarantee to that effect. Putin has urged the West to move quickly to meet his demands, warning that Moscow will have to take adequate military technical measures if the West continues its aggressive course on the threshold of our home. Asked to specify what such Moscow's response would be, he said in comments aired by Russian state TV Sunday that it could be diverse, adding without elaboration, it will depend on what proposals our military experts submit to me. So as you can see, folks, he is completely obstinate about this. He is not in overly a negotiating mood, as it were. Like I say, I think these meetings with NATO and the United States, he already had a meeting there with Biden, and that went absolutely nowhere. So I'm expecting more of the same from these meetings. I don't think that there's going to produce any fruit from these meetings. I don't think the West is going to budge, nor do I think Vladimir Putin is going to budge. He is absolutely adamant about no eastern expansion of NATO towards Russia. He's not in a negotiating mood when it comes to that subject. Because even after these meetings are planned, he's still moving troops towards the border. Like, that hasn't stopped whatsoever. There's still a slew of Russian military equipment coming towards the Ukrainian border, which indicates that he has absolutely no signs of stopping or abating this attack. We'll see what happens, folks, but like I say, I don't think these meetings are going to bear any fruit whatsoever for the West or for Putin, and I personally think that war is inevitable. I certainly hope not, but time will tell. But thank you so much, folks, for coming along with me to my update. Please remember to like, to comment, to share, and of course to subscribe. And until the next update, God bless.